Also available on iTunes and Deezer.
Meron? Ano nga ba ang meron? Paano nga bang mabuhay ng tapat sa meron? Don't you wish you can relive your philo classes? The terror teachers? The terrible oral exams? Or the even terrifying but liberating and life-changing aha moments? Lundagin mo, baby! Here's your chance! Lundagin mo, baby! Kasama ang mga pilosopong sina Jovi Miroy at Ron Capinding. Lundagin mo, baby! Leaping upward, leaping forward. Lundagin mo, baby! Leaping to greater heights, to greater wisdom, to greater magis. Lundag na, Ateneo! Radyo Katipunan, 87.9 FM. Let us understand mental health and explore how we can take care of our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. Welcome to your weekly slice of mental health tips and tidbits with Pat and B, here on Mind Ed.
Sa'yo sumisilong kapag ang puso ko'y pagod.
Calling on all young male professionals. Do you wish to live an extraordinary life? Are you tired of the routine and mundane and long for a dynamic, adventurous, and even dangerous life? Do you wish to make your life count and hope to make an impact long after you're gone? Do you wish to live a life of service to society, to country, and to dear Mother Earth? Then you are the one we are looking for. Consider the Society of Jesus. Join the church's gallant army and turn your world upside down. Call the Jesuits Vocations Promotions Team 426-6101, local 3406. Once again, 426-6101, local 3406.
Follow at Radyo Katipunan in our social media accounts on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter. The Jesuit Hour. Get to know the Jesuits. Discover their spirituality, their history, their ministries. The Jesuit Hour. Anything Jesuit, everything Jesuit. The Jesuit Hour.
To listen to music that uplifts the soul, follow jescom.ph on Spotify and Jescom Music on YouTube. Our music is also available on iTunes and Deezer.
Radyo Katipunan, 87.9 FM. This is your stop for all things pop. Catch our all-around pop culture geek, Cholo Sediaren, as he throws in some dose of what's poppin' and what's hot in the pop culture scene here on Popcorn. Munch in with us every Thursdays from 4 to 6, only here on Radyo Katipunan, 87.9 FM. We are now on YouTube. Watch all of our live episodes plus exclusive content in our channel at Radyo Katipunan FM. Don't forget to click subscribe and hit the bell to get the latest updates. Good morning, Ateneo. Start your day right with your morning wake-up call. Good morning, Ateneo. Energize your day with lively, funny, and lovely morning conversations this side of Katipunan. Catch the latest news and stories around the campus. Good morning, Ateneo! Your daily dose of radio chikahan, tawanan, kantahan, and kwentuhan. Every morning, only here on the voice of the Blue Eagle, Radyo Katipunan, 87.9 FM. Radyo Katipunan. News, insights, inspiration. Radyo Katipunan, down from the hill and down to the world. Radyo Katipunan, the voice of the Blue Eagle. Mamangha sa lalim at ganda ng ating kultura at diwang makabayan sa mga salita at pahina. Sa tulong ng mga guro at manunulat ng panitikang Pilipino, halina't tuklasin ang yaman ng ating panitikan, ang pamana ng ating lahi. Ito ang Sari-Sari, tuwing Miyerkules, 11:00 ng umaga, dito sa Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM. Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM. Are you feeling sore? We can make that better. Tune in to the Ateneo Senior High School's first radio program, SOAR, the Seniors On Air Radio. Don't change that channel yet, because SOAR is ready to put the you in you. SOAR, Seniors On Air, here on Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
If it's entertainment you crave,
Catch us on
New Wave. Surfing through the latest on our shores.
every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m.
See you there.
Radyo Katipunan, news, insights, inspiration. Radyo Katipunan, down from the hill and down to the world. Radyo Katipunan, the voice of the Blue Eagle.
Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. The voice of the Blue Eagle, kami di mapipigil sa pagbabalitang tumpak at tama. Buhay atenista sa loob sa labas ng eskwela, ating ibibida lahat ng eskwela. Radyo, radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Katipunan. Kawal ni Ignacio, Katipunero sugo, todo sa kayod, tunong at tulong. Di ba the Blue Eagle, galing giting at tigil, blue and white, one big fight. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan.
Radio Katipunan 87.9 FM via Zoom. I'm Max, and when it comes to what's happening, I'll serve you the facts. So please take this hour to sit back and relax, because this is New Wave. We went on an unexpected break last week, but now we're back and all is well. So Ateneans, as always, I always remind you guys of this. It's enlistment week again. So don't forget to take note of your schedules, necessary depths for hold orders and things like that, so that this week can fly by as smoothly as possible. I hope everyone is having a smooth enlistment week, because you know how things like this get. Now, the others who don't have intersession, it's summer break, and I can't believe we finally finished the school year. So it's summer break, and you may be looking for new things to learn about. So today, you will be learning about something. If anyone here has had an interest in cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, things like that, today is the episode for you. So we'll be talking to Bitskwela, which is a Filipino-led edutech platform that aims to make Bitcoin and cryptocurrency education accessible to all Filipinos. And joining us to learn more about this today are former Athenians and founders of Bitskwela, their CEO, Jiro, Reyes, and CPTO, Camille, Puentespina. So, hi, both of you. Please unmute yourselves and turn on your cameras.
Hey,
Hi.
afternoon.
Good afternoon. I hope it's not too rainy where both of you are. So, how are you, both of you? Jiro first and then Camille.
I am good. I'm actually Ellis's theme song ng radyo-katipunan. I love it. Radyo-katipunan. It's really nice, but
Our station jingle.
work-wise, yeah, it's really nice. But overall, just been building over the past few months, really, and just having fun with Bitskwela. So
That's great.
yeah,
So,
Yeah.
Camille.
Yeah, it's glad to be back in Radyo Katipunan. Well, I mean, it's like online right now. The last time
Yeah.
Katipunan was on site. But yeah,
Oh,
really,
really? Nice.
yeah. I think that was like first year. It was for RIB. I don't know, like,
Okay.
that's a
First year.
separate thing.
Man, that was a long time ago. We were still on campus then.
A lot has changed since the pandemic. But yeah,
Right. That's
all
true.
did well. Really exciting times for sure.
They are, and I'm sure they're exciting for both of you because you've been building Bitskwela the past few months. So let's get right into it. Now, I know that crypto is something that a lot of Filipinos, me included, have yet to understand because there's really a lot to it. And I know that Bitskwela aims to help with that. So how was this company founded? And I'll direct this to Jiro first because you had that light bulb moment during that YouTube black hole of yours. So let's get your perspective on its founding first.
yeah. So overall, really, Bitskwela was a product of this YouTube black hole that you mentioned, right? I was going through different Bitcoin videos here and there. And one night, I was watching a Kevin O'Leary YouTube video. He was talking about institutional adoption of cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin. And for some reason, in the dead middle of the video, a light bulb really sparked up above my head and made me realize what can I do to help with crypto adoption here in the Philippines. Now, with that, I looped back to the two main problems I've experienced firsthand, right? One is whenever someone asks me, Uy, pare, what is Bitcoin? Uy, brother, what's an NFT ba? Uy, chong, what's a stable coin, etc., etc., diba? I always find myself kasi scamming and really compiling like 5 to 10 links at a time and then forwarding all in one huge message. Now, this is a problem because nakaka-intimidate siya, diba? Especially if you're a new
Yes.
user and you're wanting to learn about the space, something that's very new, and you see 10 links bombarded to your face, diba? Parang nakaka-turn off siya in a way. So one, there isn't really any centralized platform, at least locally sa Philippines, that really addresses the problem of crypto education on a fundamental level. And the problem number two is all these links, all these resources and whatnot, they're mostly in English, right? Now,
Yes.
this might not be a problem man, for us Athenians and our colleagues and whatnot. But the sad reality is not everyone naman, of course, sa Pilipinas ay kasing marunong ng Tagalog o kaya ng English. Katulad ng mga tao, katulad natin, di ba? The people from different regions like Ilocos, Cebu, Bicol, etc., etc. There's always going to be those chunks of people who still need reaching out to do, right? So that's why I thought to myself, why not create multilingual crypto education to really help penetrate these demographics in the Philippines and just not leave anyone behind.
Yeah, of course. And then I think the dialect options, like when I checked your web, that already helps in making it a lot less intimidating for people around the country. So, Camille, your perspective on how this started and how you joined Bitskwela.
Yeah, well, I feel like I've heard Gio's story now for like
I'm sure.
time, but it continues to like inspire me to this day. So, really, how I got into Bitskwela, Gio was the one who tapped me. Going back,
Okay.
our friendship was like way before Bitskwela. No, we were actually teammates in Babel ever since.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was like first year pala when I joined Babel and Jiro was already there.
Yeah,
He was already like the hyperactive person.
One big fight.
The cheerleaders, right?
Yeah, and then when he
Yeah.
got into crypto, that's when I was like, oh, interesting, because he was like really vocal about it, and that
Okay.
time wasn't really into crypto yet. And then
Mhm.
because he was so passionate about it, that's when I started asking about stuff, and he really became my mentor, I'd say. And I guess like with the firing the conception of his idea, he was like, I was probably one of the first that he reached out to na parang, it counts like I have an idea, gonna and yeah, because we both worked as freelancers from before. On his side, he was doing graphic design. On my side, I was doing web stuff already. So definitely, it was kind of a good mix between the two of us to work on this alongside our other co-founders. And the rest is
Yes.
history, I guess I just say.
Yes, yes. So, okay, let's bring it back a step further pa. So, how did both of you learn about cryptocurrency and what drew you to it initially? So, Camille, you kind of answered like how you heard about it, but what drew you to it initially?
Well, I guess it was really the community that came along with it,
Oh,
you know?
that's
Like,
interesting.
I feel like it was a very Gen Z community. Like, I
Oh
really,
my gosh.
yeah, I really related to the
Yeah.
community in the way that, I don't know, like, I guess the humor that came along with it, and, like, I guess the purpose and the advocacy
Ah, okay.
after, I guess,
Mhm.
but really the first thing that draw me to it were the memes and all that. But yeah, I guess like my reasons for getting the crypto really evolved throughout the
Mhm.
whole process, like really how its nature allows it to be more democratized, I'd say,
Oh, okay.
to the
Okay.
general masses. And really it's a very novel, it's a very new technology that is really
Mhm.
exciting to explore. That's why it's great to be here at this time, at this age of the world, to witness this happen. So
Yes, that's right. So, Jiro, what about you? Before all of the YouTube black holing, what drew you to cryptocurrency?
Well, I'd say I'd attribute it to two main things. One was a bowl of shomai with some soy sauce and chili flakes.
Wow,
And number
I did
two,
not expect that.
and the book Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. So kasi,
Ah,
yeah, as mentioned ni Camille kanina, I'm actually a graphic designer by heart. I graduated BFA noong 2020 sa Ateneo din. And
mm,
back then kasi, binasa ko yung Rich Dad Poor Dad, di
mhm.
ba? And that's where I realized the importante talaga to manage one's finances, right? Assets,
Of
liabilities, all
course.
that,
Yes.
etc., etc. And from there kasi, doon ko na-realize na I don't want to be a quote-unquote corporate slave. I don't want to be staring at blank walls. I don't want to be stuck in an office for 8 hours a week, 8 hours a day, 7 times a week, right? So I looked around and started looking for opportunities on where I can earn
Mhm.
income aside from jobs, right? And I saw both the stocks and cryptocurrency markets as a way out. So
Mhm.
one sunny afternoon, pumunta ako sa Gonzaga cafeteria. I bought my usual favorite meal of siomai bowl with chili flakes and soy sauce.
I can
And then
imagine this, really. It's very, very immersive, like Shomai in Gonzaga.
mainit pa, second floor Gonzaga, may tubig
Yeah,
akong
you hear
dala.
the electric fan.
Exactly. Tapos may mahulog na upuan, medyo
No, a hydro flask will fall. Of course, it's
hydro flask,
Ateneo,
yes.
right?
Classic. But yeah, one afternoon I sit down with my show, my bowl, and then I just search on Google, what is Bitcoin? And from there, that's when the rabbit hole really opened up to me. And that's where I started just learning and learning about the space. In general, I'd say I went into the cryptocurrency space as a way of earning money, right, for profits.
Yes, yes.
But I stayed for the fundamentals, for all the implications and social impacts it has and can have on the world today. So that leads all to where I am right now, Bitskwela.
Yeah, all right. So, what are these social impacts? Like, can you expound a little bit more on what these social impacts are so that the audience is also more aware?
For sure, yeah. So I'd say it's probably revolving around 3 to 4 properties. I won't really get too technical now, of course,
Of course.
but the main aspect I want to highlight is transparency, right? As you guys may know, naman, in 2008, a global recession happened, the global financial crisis, right? And it could easily be argued and proven that this whole financial crisis, even though marami factors, was mainly caused by the greed and the just the bad intentions of different rating agencies, corporations, and banks creating these horribly written bonds, right? And all of these were done behind closed doors and really just away from the eyes of the masses, right? They advertise these bonds and these financial products as something that is stable, etc., something good for investors, right? And as long as it's sold, the banks and all the other corporations involved, we're just happy with it, right? If it sells, it sells, right? We don't really give food if it's like something bad underlying it, right? So it's a complete 360 turn with cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrencies are based on a blockchain, and this blockchain, which is basically a ledger of transactions, is completely transparent, right? So during this talk right now, if you're listening, you could literally head over to blockchain.com, blockchainexplorer.com, or whatnot, and check the transactions happening in real time as of now. You
Oh,
can
okay.
see who's sending what cryptocurrencies, how much, and what time at any given point in time. Literally anything. Just search it up on Google right now. So cryptocurrencies really revolve around the idea of transparency and just the idea of not working behind closed doors. It's just more honest money. Now, there's lots of other social impacts, of course, like financial inclusion, efficiency, et cetera. But yeah, I wouldn't want to take all the time.
Yeah, and actually, okay, we'll ask you a little more about that later because I'm curious about something regarding the transparency of all of this. But let's talk
For
about
sure.
Bitskwela first as a company. So, when exactly was this founded? Was it this year or was it last year?
So initial concepts and forming the team happened late last year, around
Okay,
November,
okay.
December, roughly. But the initial execution of operations and whatnot started around a few months ago, early this 2022, leading all the way to our development and our first MVP launch no May 6, which we held sa
Oh, so you're
Poblacion
very
actually.
new.
Yeah, actually, we just had our first month anniversary 2 days ago. So
Yeah, congratulations.
yeah, so we're really new and we're really formed by a young cohort of individuals talaga. But it's ano eh, one thing's for sure though is we're all on the same boat when it comes to cryptocurrency education.
All right, of course, because when you're forming something, all of you kind of need to be in agreement. So I'll direct this now at Camille. What was it like starting this venture up during a pandemic? Because usually, like things like this, even as simple as group projects, they're a lot easier when we're on campus when we can all be together. But how we're getting things together and operations like when all you could do is like call on Zoom or like, do things online.
Right. I guess I'll skip through the obvious now with the,
Yeah, of course, of course.
internet connection and all that. But I feel like
Yeah.
honestly the way that we had to work, like the challenges we had
Mm-hmm.
to work with being online was actually it helped us, it helped us become more aware, to become more accessible, not just for us within the team, but for even all our users, right? When you're considering that all your users are online, you're actually open to a lot more. You're parang it's less limited that you have users lang na that's within your space. You now think about users outside, even people in the regional areas, people who won't have as much access to internet connections, right? You become more aware of that. And I guess I'm speaking on a product perspective here in the Donna side, but yeah, definitely it's allowed us to become more to get us more familiar with the space, not just on our circles but on the outside too. So at the end of the day, I guess like it both has its pros and cons, being online and on site. But I do see a lot of potential, from us moving to online and then now kind of becoming more flexible, kind of like having more on-site events with our talks, with seminars that we might have, and we've been really open to both ways.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to, like, after the pandemic, we don't want to cancel one or like to remove
Yeah, of
the
course.
online space, but we do want to continue expanding on both ends.
I see, I see. So speaking of online space, I will take this opportunity to commend you both for your amazing website. Like it's so sleek, it's so smooth. Like I was so surprised. Like it's so like it was so easy to navigate. Like from choosing the language to like the two buttons, like which one do you want to view first? It was like wow, I hardly see websites this smooth, and the content was very easy to digest, especially with something as complicated as cryptocurrency, where usually, as Jiro said earlier, you're given links and thesis papers and you go through those to understand. But I found a lot of the content on your website very easy to understand, easy to digest, and like as I said, visually, the scrolling feature that was nice. That was cool. So enough of my description, but can you tell our audience a little bit more about like what your site has to offer in terms of learning?
Yeah, thank you so much. I guess I can start with that. Jiro, feel free to add, Naren.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
I'm really excited to talk about this part. Yeah, for sure. The website, no, we really want to champion the accessibility side
Of
of things.
course, of course.
Yeah, not just on like desktop, but we're fully mobile optimized. So even people who don't really use their laptops, who don't really have access to it, that mobile people can still mobile people that use the mobile can still
Mhm.
use it like
Mhm.
as well as the rest. Now if you look at our website, there are a couple of things that you can see. First thing, definitely the modules themselves. So within our modules, we have 14 modules right now with 40 different topics in each. And then within each of the modules, so the modules, they contain basic fundamental information
Mhm.
about crypto and Bitcoin, the history, the pop culture in Bitcoin, even all that. And then within those modules, we have quizzes. So each lecture or each module
Wow.
has its own quiz. Really quick quiz naman, but it helps you kind
Yes.
of like measure how much you've learned within that topic. Aside from that, we also have our glossary section. So it's a list of almost 200 words translated in different languages. So, right, as you mentioned, we have English, Tagalog, we have Cebuano, Ilocano right now, and we're planning to expand to another four more languages.
Oh,
So,
wow.
stay tuned for that also. And then aside from that, we also have other features. We have like videos, for alternative learning methods. So we
Mhm.
want na not just like for people who like reading, if people who don't like reading can also still learn. We have our video content. So that's a quick view then of, like the summary of all the topics that we've had. And then aside from the foundational courses, we also have upcoming different topics like stable coins, NFTs, layer ones, DAOs, all those, which probably your viewers might have heard of also before. So that's something we're also partnering up with other local startups to kind of like build that side of things also in education. Yeah, Jiro, do you have
Wow.
anything else to
It's
add?
very loaded. Yes, Jiro, do you have anything to add?
No, you covered it all. But yeah, really excited overall, really for the additional modules, like what Cam said. So of course, if you guys head over to bitskwela.com right now, kasi you would see Bitcoin modules and courses, right? But we are also plan to expand our coverage into other crypto assets such as stablecoins, layer ones, NFTs, DeFi's, and DAOs. So in the long run, talaga, Bitskwela really aims to be this overall educational hub where anyone of any stature or whatnot
Mhm.
can dip their toes in the cryptocurrency space through Bitskwela.
I'm very surprised to see that officially you guys have only been around for like 1 month, because the modules page alone is already very loaded with like a lot of topics. Now, how are these modules crafted? Like, do you have a team? Does the community also submit? Like, how were all of these made?
Yeah, so fun fact, all of the modules written right now were all written in-house by me, Vince, and Lance, our
Wow.
COO and our
Uh-huh.
CFO respectively. So everything really is a culmination of our learnings in the crypto space so far. We've been in the space kasi for like years na rin. And yeah, so that's how we were able to come up with these a little more in-depth modules about Bitcoin. In terms of translations, naman, we had to do those. We got to outsource those with professional translators who actually know the language, their own languages in their own dialects, natively talaga, just to make sure the translations are smooth and almost perfect, right?
Of course, of course. Now for making the video, because they're designed like crash courses, like with those animations and stuff, which were pretty cool. So do you have a team for this also?
Yeah, we partnered up with an agency as well for the animation. So we're working closely with them for additional videos as well in the future. Like I said, for the other modules we're preparing.
Nice, nice. So I know that you guys have a Facebook community, like you also have those community groups. So how does the community of Bitskwela like participate with it? Are
Yeah.
they
Go ahead, Gams.
Sige, go. Sige, you
Go
can
ahead, go ahead.
answer. Well, a couple of things actually. The community has been very active. We've actually just done that a couple of days ago, yung formal na social media community. And it's been really exciting. Like everyone has been participating well. We've been asking for opinions on things, like buying simple like things like, oh, when do you see like Bitcoin becoming a normal mode of payment and all that,
Oh,
right?
okay.
What's your thoughts about cryptocurrencies? And actually, it's really exciting because even people outside of their circle now are really there fostering conversations and really it's nice even for like silent readers to read through those things because these are like opinions that you don't really see in like formal article setups and all that. This is something that you really see in like the whole Filipino community and their thought process on things. But yeah, aside from the Facebook community that we actually also have a couple of volunteers and contributors that are helping us with like creating
Yes.
content as well. So one side of things, we have kind of our blogs which we just launched actually like 2 days ago, right, Jiro?
Oh, okay.
Right. So the blogs, they kind of give like editorials and opinions about people who are already into the space, giving them kind of like more chunks about information about like the whole space that isn't covered within our modules. So it's really exciting to see a lot of volunteers also working together in providing this content, definitely.
Yes,
Super.
for sure. And just to clarify, I'm sure the audience needs to know this. Everything on the website, is it free? Yes, it is. Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, yes.
Yes, it is. You were
I thought
mute for a
I was gonna-
bit. You were on mute for a bit. But yes, okay. There you go. So before we go on a quick break, I know that Bit is literally the name Bitskwela, but there are also other cryptocurrencies, right? Like there's Sol and things like that. I'm sorry, I'm not too familiar with it. But when it comes to these other cryptocurrencies, can the same principles like with Bitcoin be applied, or are there like a different set of rules for each?
Sorry, when you say principles, what do you mean exactly? Just to clarify on the
Like,
question.
I guess like processes, things to remember, like how to be like I think responsibilities like with the currency itself.
Okay, I
Yes.
can siguro on a fundamental level, they're all similar in a sense that they're all based on a blockchain, right? So again, to reiterate for those who might not know, a blockchain is a type of ledger that ties transactions all together, right? So for example, let's say I send Cams 1 Bitcoin on a Tuesday, and I send you, Maxine, 2 Bitcoin on a Friday. Even though na those two transactions were from different senders, different receivers, different points in time, different amounts, etc., they're all still mathematically and tied together through codes and mathematic, right? So you can't really break it apart, and that's what makes the blockchain super super sturdy and very way harder than the centralized infrastructure we have today in societies, right? Now, with that whole idea of blockchain, yes, most, if not all, cryptocurrencies are based as well on a blockchain. The difference lang lies on the different, sorry for the buzzword, but consensus mechanisms on how these blockchains operate. So you can think of it as like the rules of, so if Bitcoin uses rule A, for example, Sol can use rule B, Ethereum can use Rule C. But on a fundamental level, yes, they're all based on a blockchain pa rin. So they have
Okay.
overall they have their own similarities, but they also have some stark differences, which really expands the reach of cryptocurrencies, right? Because for Bitcoin, it has its own set of simple quote unquote use cases, right? But with cryptocurrencies being programmable money, talaga, it really opens up the door to different
Mhm.
innovations. And that's exactly how different altcoins like Solana, Ethereum, Cardano, USDT, etc., that that is what brought about these different types of cryptocurrencies aside from Bitcoin. So yeah, sorry
All
to
right.
technical, but
No, it's okay. That's why we're here. So, to our audience, if you have more questions, just sound them off in the comment section so we can answer them after this quick break where we will be watching a video by Bitskwela. So, Tom, please play the video. And we're back. That was a very quick break. That was a very quick break. As I said earlier, your branding is very scenic. In that video, in the website, the identity is very much there. So, back to crypto for a little bit. Sometimes when it comes to crypto, like the people's attitude is, I don't know what I don't know. And like honestly, the first time I encountered crypto, that was like that was the first thing I thought of also. Like I don't know what questions to ask because I don't know what I don't know. So for both of you, what would you say is the first step to understanding? Like the very, very first thing someone should think about or be told when they're about to start investing in crypto?
sorry, when you investing or learning in
Or
crypto?
learning, sorry.
Learning.
Mm-hmm.
If it's learning talaga, I always say you have to have lots of patience talaga, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even though that here at Bitskwela we try to simplify things, patience is always going to be needed, especially when learning
Mm-hmm.
something new and novel like cryptocurrencies, right? Because ako personally, before Bitskwela was founded, when I was just reading up and studying on the technology, whenever I looked into one topic, it always led to five other questions in mind, right? And then it
Yes,
just
yes.
branches out and branches
Mm-hmm.
out exactly like a rabbit hole talaga. And that type of studying, that type of exploring and just going through different resources isn't really for the impatient people. So talaga overall, kailangan talaga may patience ka and you have the will talaga to, and the curiosity rather, to really take on these different resources. But of course, here at Bitskwela, that's what we're trying to simplify, right? So if you go over to our Bitcoin modules, everything is really organized in a step-by-step fashion. We take you through the fundamental stuff that you need to understand in a right order, which will give you a better idea of the technology once you finish the 13 modules.
What about for you, Camille, from your perspective?
Yeah, I think Jiro explained the whole principle of patience na, no? So let me get to the opposite of that. Kung hindi kayo patient, hindi kayo patient, we actually have a 5-minute kind of crash course about really starting it all, no? I mean, well, of course, you don't learn everything with that 5 minutes, but we hope that what we've made, which you guys can see on the site as well, is something that could really get you to jumpstart the whole journey of to going down that rabbit hole, if you would say. And yeah, the 5 minute crash course really gives you kind of like a high level perspective on the whole space of Bitcoin cryptocurrencies, and not just like the idea itself, but really the concepts behind it, the fundamentals behind it, the whole blockchain, and all that. So, yun, dagdag ko lang yun.
That's what I was referring to a while ago, actually. It was that 5 minute crash course with that really like nice layout that helped me understand things a lot better for today. Now, okay, societal context, like cryptocurrency in the Philippines. Like in the Philippine context, how can crypto help us like in our day-to-day lives or in the long run? So anyone can take this question first.
Yeah, I'll say one. One of the top. Well, overall, because there's lots of things that can be tackled in Philippines. But one of the things I want to highlight is the OFW remittances, right? Given that the Philippines
Oh.
has a high number of OFWs, right? In different countries around the world.
Mhm.
Now, I'll give a scenario. Let's say I want to send, or someone from the US, rather, my tita. Let's name her Jorelyn, right? Si Ate
Okay.
Jorelyn, Tita
Okay.
Jorelyn. Let's say she wants to send money back home sa family namin to pay for food, medical bills, etc., right? Tita will have to go to a money transfer exchange, let's say Western Union, right?
Mhm.
She has to walk over there, drive over there, find parking, fill up a long form, pay the attendant some fees, large hefty fees rather, and all of that just to find out na yung pera na ipapadala niya, we will receive it in what, 2-3 days, right?
Mhm. Yes,
So
yes.
the whole the whole process of transferring value across countries is super hassle, diba? It takes a long time. Now this is a luxury that probably again within our circles hindi natin experience. But for those who need that money on a daily basis, who need that money urgently, that could literally mean the matter of life or death. I mean, look back in Africa, and that's if precisely why then actually Africa is one
Mhm.
of the leading cryptocurrency adopters right now sa mundo is because of remittances, right? From Kenya to the other provinces, money through cryptocurrencies is so easy to transfer na compared to their traditional wonky financial institutions there, right? So in the context of Philippines, it could really save millions and even billions of money in terms of fees of the
Mhm.
time that's
Okay.
wasted, quote unquote, when transferring money. Because with cryptocurrencies, you could just log into your wallet,
Mhm.
paste the address, click send. You're gonna get it in a few minutes max,
Mhm.
right? So it really cuts down the whole process of transferring value. Now, this overall may sound like a small thing, right? Transferring value. We have PayPal naman. We have blah
Mhm.
blah blah naman, right? But what people often overlook is number one, these middlemen offer hefty fees, right? Like I said kanina. Ako pa lang, I bought something through PayPal last week. And the overall charges that I got was around 30% ng binili ko. Not even
Oh,
kidding.
okay. Wow.
30%. It was pretty, pati ako nagulat ako like, 30%? Wow, para lang sa binili kong whatever, right? So it was, it was kind of a bummer. And of course, again, this is something that probably for me, for Cams, for you, isn't much of a problem. But for people who have less financial power, this poses a problem. And number two, of course, these are all mostly as of now controlled by centralized authorities, right? BDO, Western Union, Bayad Center, etc., etc. Now, the question really comes into play when what happens if someone or one country, whatnot, attacks or hacks or whatnot, inatake yung central databases of these financial companies, right? And when these companies kasi are attacked or whatnot, yung talagang victim ay yung tao eh. Yung data natin, savings natin, yung value natin, lahat yun ang mawawala, right?
Mhm.
With cryptocurrencies, everything again is decentralized. There's no one point of failure. You can't. It's 1,000 times harder to attack it compared to centralized infrastructure today.
Yes, wow. Okay, that's a lot to take in. So, Camille, do you have anything to add or any other perspective to offer?
Yeah, kinuha ni Jiro yung aking supposed na So let me go into kind of like a wider scale of things na lang. Not just in
Mhm.
currency, but I think just really in the Web3 space, like the whole space where it underlies. So one thing also that I think is very relevant, and I see it a lot in the Philippine context, no, is especially how the Web3 space has really enabled freelancers, artists, most of the time, ganon, to really be able to make a name for themselves and really, kind of give more value to the works that they've had. We see this especially with NFTs. I don't know. I feel like that has been really a buzzword for quite some time already. But I just want to highlight really what it offers. No, I
Mhm.
mean, especially within the Philippine space, and I see that an artist myself, and I see this a lot. We see that there's really like the value of artworks here is really pretty low, especially for artists, and I feel like a lot of artists would agree to this. And I feel like it's one on the sense of the industry itself, and the reputation that it garnered. But being able to, be in touch using Web3, be in touch with more of the international space who really is able to appreciate the work of artists themselves, really has allowed this industry to flourish more and to really gain more traction. And I feel that we have a lot of talented artists, not even just in art, in a lot of music, right?
Yes, yes, we
In other
do.
spaces. And definitely with the Web3 space, you can see it and how there's more recognition with the Filipinos. Filipino pride, kumbaga,
Oh,
or
okay.
Pinoy pride,
Wow.
to actually get that kind of recognition in the international space. And really, it really helped with the freelancers on the even with the remittance side,
Mhm.
being able to transact with these like international clients and not being having to get charged with such big rates or such big disparity with the currency
Mhm.
differences and all that is really helpful within the Web3 space, I'd say.
So this Web3 space, is it similar to what Jiro was mentioning earlier? Like you can just check like the blockchains and see who's transacting now, or is it a different thing entirely? Yes, sorry, you're not heard. Yes, yes, it's a yes.
Una. Sige, go.
Okay, there.
Yeah, that's one side of things, but the Web3 is really a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just in the financial side. It's really all the different applications of the blockchain that's seen within the Web3. So on the
Mm,
security
okay.
side, you'd say the evolution of the tech
Mm-hmm.
on that side, and as I mentioned, like the yung NFT space also, that's also another side of things. So really it's a big
It
community.
is. It
Even
is.
for the metaverse, ganon, that's also part of the Web3. And really, it's the community with it is also all part of that web. So it's a whole chunk of things all in one.
Yes. All right. So going a little deeper into that, like Bitcoin, it's supposed to be like transparent, and then everyone can see the transactions being made. So what does this mean for security? Like, how does it look like when you see people transacting? Do you see their names? Is there a pseudonym given for anonymity? Like, how does that work? So how can people feel safe with it?
So when it comes to transactions, looking them up on the blockchain, you can't
Mm-hmm,
really see
mm-hmm.
the names, right? Real
Oh,
life
okay.
names
Okay.
aren't tied to the wallet addresses.
Oh,
So for
okay.
example, if I were to send you one Bitcoin, Maxine, ang lalabas dun sa blockchain explorer ay 0005 something something, sent one Bitcoin
Ah,
to
okay.
000.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like numbers talking, right?
Okay.
But
Okay.
in essence, the security really lies on the blockchain itself. Going back to my point
Mhm.
kanina, the blockchain is something you can't easily hack. You can't easily counterfeit or whatnot. It's something you can't really break into, right? It's infinitely times more secure, again, than centralized infrastructure. And that is all because, again, of the code and mathematics that is tied within the blockchain. So, kasi with the blockchain, diba, like compared to the banks we have right now, I mean, the global financial crisis and whatnot, there is at least that layer of assurance that no one
Okay.
is making fake transactions, no one is counterfeiting money, no one is doing those illegal stuff, right? So at the very on that basic sense, there's already that sense of security na people are confident na kahit walang tao na in charge, they are assured that
Okay.
the money that's being transferred on a daily basis are all legitimate, right? Because, diba, I mean, if you look right now, you could easily count, well, not easily, but you could counterfeit Philippine pesos, diba? US dollars, create fake bills and whatnot. You could easily hack into BDO, make some fake transactions accounts, etc., etc. But at least on the cryptocurrency side, everything is just way more honest.
I see. I see. Okay. So before I ask my next question, I'll acknowledge some comments first. So
Go ahead.
hello to Ma'am Jen from Radio Katipunan. Hello to Erwin Villamor, AMDG. So yes, AMDG. This is a completely blue Zoom call right now. Hello to my cousin Miguel Madero. And hello to Maria Victoria Ponan. You're always here, so thank you for joining us for another week. And for Liza Simone Reyes, thank you for the stars. So thank you guys. Keep the comments coming. And don't forget that if you have any questions or things you want to clear up, the comment section is open and ready. Okay, so next, when it comes to cryptocurrency, once more, what are the biggest misconceptions that you would like to clear up? Especially like a while ago, I heard Camille say like, "Oh, NFT has become a buzzword," things like that. So, what like given the chance right now, what are the biggest misconceptions that you want to clear up? So, Camille, you start.
Interesting. Let me think about that. The biggest one. I guess that I feel like, well, this is something that's always been a problem in the country, no?
Mm-hmm.
Probably that Bitcoin or the whole cryptocurrency space is a scam. We see that quite often. I guess that's rooted from, misinformation that happens. Well, it's undeniable. There has been scams before. But I feel like that came with, bad actors working on the premise that people aren't really aware or familiar with the space, which is something that we in Bitskwela, we really want to counter. That's
Mm-hmm.
really one of our utmost goals, to make sure that people understand the fundamentals first before they even actually transact, or they actually do anything with the space, trade with the space. And
Mm-hmm.
by being able to drive that misinformation out, and basically inform everyone that Bitcoin isn't a scam, guys. Bitcoin is a scam. That's really how we kind of would be able to progress towards a more inclusive space in the Philippines in the crypto area.
Mm-hmm. But to
Yeah.
follow up, where do these scams happen? If like you can't fake Bitcoin?
Well,
So
yeah, see, go, Jiro.
You're on mute right now. You're on mute.
sorry, the
There.
Wi-Fi is kind of wonky. Could you
It's
repeat the
the
question?
rain.
Yeah.
Okay, so Camille
Sorry.
mentioned like scams happening in Bitcoin, and earlier it was mentioned that you can't fake it on Bitcoin. So where do these scams happen?
Yeah, the scams mostly happen not on Bitcoin, just to clarify that, but the scams
Oh, okay.
rather happen with these other altcoins. Basically,
Okay.
altcoins are cryptocurrencies that are not Bitcoin, right? So this is where everyday people can develop their own cryptocurrencies, right? And with a decentralized nature, kasi that's a double-edged sword. Na again, any person can create their own crypto coin. So in that sense, that leaves an opportunity for bad actors here and there to take advantage of that fact, and the fact that there are lots and lots of newbies in the space. Now, it's a sad fact that billions have been lost in crypto-related scams locally in the Philippines, reaching billions and billions of pesos, right? Arno Donyo, Wonka Cash, etc. Over the past 3 years, as the cryptocurrency market grew, there also unfortunately have been its fair share of bad actors. For example, is like, let's say I'm a developer, for example, right? And I create Jiro coin. and then I
Okay.
promise on Jiro coin I can give you 1,000% return in 3 days. And of course, yung mga common victims for that are the people who are less knowledgeable about investing in general.
Mm-hmm.
So when they hear that, they're gonna be like, "Wow, uy pare, 1,000% daw on this Jiro coin. Let me put my life savings into it nga." Bam, he buys it, and then the person, the developer, can easily just rug pull, which is basically a scam, term for the scam in the space. Rug pull the
Oh,
token and then steal the funds
Mm.
of the people, right? So with the freedom to develop your own innovations with NFTs and different altcoins, it also comes with a risk, of course. Again, with people creating scams, Ponzi schemes, etc.,
mm-hmm.
etc. Now that's a double-edged sword that people have the price we have to pay um, with decentralization, right? Nothing is really perfect, naman. Even centralized systems have their own flaws and upsides. So it's just a matter of giving and take. And that's specifically the problem that we want to solve here at Bitskwela. We want to reduce
Okay.
the number of people who are getting scammed, the number of blue collar workers losing their money to everyday Ponzi schemes, etc., and just practice proper understanding and proper investing of on the cryptocurrency space.
Okay, I guess to add lang, really
Yes.
quickly, I guess it also comes to the volatility, of the space. How parang a lot of parang you'd see it not just even on the technical side of the altcoins, no,
Mm-hmm.
but even more of like yung parang may mga phishing links, yung links na parang yun parang get this agad and all that. So most of the times it parang there are channels that really get towards that side. And also on the other side, yung parang maybe sometimes yung mga lending things, right? Yung lending platforms or even just people like individuals that do the lending things na parang get 3 times return agad with this coin or like Bitcoin even ganon. And then people who aren't really aware of the space or really don't understand agad sila bibigay kasi diba parang it's very volatile, ang dali tumaas. Pero they don't know na parang it's also really easy to go down. And that
Okay.
parang yung agad na impression nila is scam to, ganon. Without really, because of the non-familiarity of the space, nagiging parang ganon yung misconception.
Yes, yes.
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
May
it's
I add
really
just
about
something?
learning.
I sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I
It's
want to
okay.
share something. Added to what Camille said nung una, with cryptocurrency scams in general, I want to clarify then that because the common misconception of cryptocurrencies is that they are the preferred medium of exchange when it comes to money laundering and other sketchy activities, right? Excuse me. But it is an actual fact, right? It's a fact that only 0.15% of cryptocurrency transactions slash volume are related to illicit activity over the past 2 years, right? 0.15 lang. Now, compare that to fiat money, right? To the peso, to the dollar, etc., etc. It's a fact as well that 2 to 3% of which are related to illicit scams. So doon pa lang nakita mo na yung discrepancy, and it disproves the idea that cryptocurrencies is the preferred mode for exchange when it comes to illicit activity.
So once again, why you should enroll in Bitskwela. Before we end, what are your upcoming projects and things to look out for Bitskwela?
So actually on June 17th, we are going to be talking at Bitcoin and Beer Day. So Draper Startup House, published in Makati. So actually, Maxine, if you'd want, we would love for you to come by, meet the team and all that. Yeah. So overall, talaga we have lots of initiatives and lots of talks and online whatnot happening within the next few months. We're just clearing out the fog internally, setting out the partnership details, etc., etc. But yeah, follow us on Facebook at Bitskwela, Twitter and Instagram at Bitskwela lahat yun. And yeah, just to stay updated.
Right. Yeah, on a bigger scale, no, on like a high level scale, do expect a lot of regional reach outs we'll be having later on down the line. We definitely want to kind of expand Bitskwela not just on, the metro side, but really get it out, get it to where we really would want, where the crypto literacy is still low, and the appreciation is still low. That's really where we want to reach out to. So yeah, definitely follow our socials, like Jiro mentioned. And then stay tuned for everything that we have in store. We definitely have a lot more things, a lot more features that we're excited to show, and we can't wait to be in this journey with everyone.
Speaking of team members, actually, one of your team members is here, Sam Haoshan. She says hi and Jiro coin when.
Hi Sam, thank you for coming by.
All right, so let's end on a light note. Where do you see cryptocurrency going in the next 5 years? So anyone can take this first.
Next 5 years.
Next
That
5
is
years.
year 2027. No?
Mhm.
Well, for one, I'd say that proper regulation should be already set in by then. We've already seen the initial roots of implementation of regulations across the world in the past year or so. Now, regulations are a good thing naman, contrary to what other might think, right? I believe that regulations is necessary for crypto adoption to actually happen sa kahit anong bansa, right? So yeah, in 5 years, I hope that regulations do sprout up even more with clear definitions on what and what not to do, especially to Filipinas.
Right. On my end, I guess like I want to be optimistic in this side, no? I wanna,
Sorry nga pala.
Kaya yun, I do really want to see, like the average Filipino using the whole space, using crypto for all transactions. Imagine like jeepney drivers accepting payment in kunwari, in Bitcoin. Imagine that, right? And all that. Even stores, mini shops, MSMEs using that. We're definitely optimistic that that would happen. 5 years, hopefully. but for sure that's something that we really want to. And with Bitskwela, that's really who we want to target at the long run, no? To really be able to reach that level and those people, the average Filipino, to get really the whole space out there.
Mm. Fun fact, nangyari din actually yung tricycle drivers and jeepney drivers accepting crypto.
Really?
Some vehicles already do that sa Baguio. And I've seen
Oh.
some select taxis here in Manila actually. So yeah, it's of course very conny pa lang sila, but it's like of course the first step forward, right? So again, it's really really exciting talaga. It's just a matter of proper education sa everyday Filipino.
Massive.
Uh,
Yeah.
Yes. All right. So before we say goodbye and before I say goodbye to the audience, let's thank a few people first, and I will ask you guys to give your parting words in a bit. Okay, so please allow me to thank a few people first. This has been New Wave. So thank you to Tom for handling today's broadcast. You did a really good job. And to Sir Justin for his support from far away. So thank you once again to our audience for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you all next week. Now, don't miss out. Follow us on Instagram at newwave.rk to stay updated. Head over to our Facebook page called New Wave, or you can type newwave.rk if it doesn't come out. And don't forget to join the Facebook group for replays, additional content, and many more. So catch the replay of this episode on Radio Katipunan 87.9 FM's Facebook page, YouTube, and Twitter Live, all of which go by at Radio Katipunan. And don't forget that you can also listen to this episode and many more as a podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Anchor under the name New Wave. But most of all, thank you to our guests, Camille and Jiro, for spending your afternoon with us. I learned a lot. It seems a lot less intimidating now. The floor is yours to invite people to join Bitskwela or say anything you want.
I just want to say a big thank you lang talaga to the whole Atenean community, especially, right? Ateneo has served a big role in my own personal development, both social and professional wise. So a big thank you to everyone who organized this interview, Radyo Katipunan, Maxine, Miguel, of course, anyone involved, a big thank you. And for everyone listening out there and beyond, I do hope na you guys stay open to the technology, even though my my bad thoughts ko initially about it. Just stay open, keep an open mind, and just stay curious, right? Of course, dito ng Bitskwela lagi. Just message me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever. I would be happy to give a chat or just talk about everything in general. Yeah, Cams.
Yes, super thank you for the opportunity. I guess I speak on behalf of the whole team. No? This is really our way of giving back to the Ateneo community, to the whole, to everyone that really has touched us. And we'd want to be able to reach as much people as possible to really share the knowledge and really get, evolve the crypto space to the Philippines in the way that we know best, which is in education. So, right, yeah, please do join our Facebook community if you guys haven't yet. We do a lot of communication there, and we also invite people to a lot of our events. We'd love to see everyone and get connected with everyone. I think that's the very first step in creating this whole community and this whole space that is in love with crypto. Oh yeah,
And yeah,
support.
yeah, don't worry. Like, if you're someone who doesn't know anything, if you're someone who knows a little, if you're someone who knows kinda a lot, if you're an expert, everyone is welcome. Sa Facebook group namin. So yeah, please join. It is Bitskwela Philippines ang pangalan niya.
Don't forget to drop the links in the comment section. As Cam said earlier, also do it for the memes. All right, so thank you also to Migoy for helping us monitor screen health today. Once again, I'm Max, and when it comes to what's happening, I'll serve you the facts. And this has been New Wave. We'll see you all next week. Bye.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
GM.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
If it's entertainment you crave,
Catch us on
New
New
Wave.
Wave
Surfing through the latest on our shores.
every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m.
See you there.
Radyo, 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 radyo.